it is an overlap. I see.
All right, guys, we are back, and we are now with Coach Makovic. Coach Makovic has helped out a lot with the youth club this year. Obviously, first year in the district, first year helping out with the club, coming over to the good side. So I guess just start off by telling me a little bit about your experience and things you've liked so far this year and so on and so forth.
Well, the very first night, it was a lot of fun trying to learn everybody's name. I don't know, 'cause sometimes this is really loud when I watch you guys back, so I didn't really want this right in my mouth.
You can use your Kyle voice. It's fine.
I don't know. No one can use a Kyle voice like Kyle. But anyways, the first night was really interesting, trying to learn all these new names. And the very first thing I noticed is the kids wanted to be there. They were excited. It's hard to actually stop them from wrestling before wrestling practice starts. And so there's a lot of energy in the room, and just practice in general. The kids wanted to be there. They're excited and just looking forward to the new season.
Yeah, absolutely. So this last weekend, we were we had a club-sponsored tournament at Ithaca Weston at the Weston School. Talk a little bit about that. We did have 2 champs. We had Miles Ewing and Banks Ewing. I guess talk a little bit about how that went. And we did have, I believe, 25 kids registered for that. So.
Yeah, the one thing I want to start with that is we had an abundance of coaches there. You guys went to a different tournament and supported the wrestlers there, and thankfully we had Coach Brown, Coach Crook, Coach Zimmerman, and Coach Seep was there, and it was nice to have all these different coaches to help out, and the kids did well. We were expecting a little bit more out of them, a little bit higher places. We did put a team in, and we tried to win that one. It's been competitive this year for the most part, but yeah, just looking at the way Banks and Miles with their aggressiveness, their style paid off. We had a few kids place second as well, but just seeing the different competition, that was a good thing about there, is not everybody wrestled the same kids that we have been seeing, and so we're going to try to take that momentum from those kids, those leaders, and bring it into this team state.
Absolutely. So, yeah, this year we changed things up a little bit with the youth club. We started doing more team-focused events, more dual tournaments. We'll be taking the 3rd through 5th grade division to the Dome in the Dells this weekend on Sunday, barring Snowmageddon. Sounds like that tournament will go on regardless. I think getting there will be fine. The way home might be a little bit sketchy. Hopefully we don't get as much snow as they're forecasting. But, yeah, so we're in Division 2. We got the 11th seed of 16 teams. So our first match we will be against Freedom, traditional, really good Division II school. My season tickets for the state tournament are right next to the Freedom crowd, so fairly familiar with them, cheering for them, and there's usually quite a bit to cheer about for them at the state tournament. And then we have a juggernaut, Iowa Grant Highland in the second round, who I believe won the 3rd to 5th grade division last year in Division 2 and 3. And then we finish out pool play against Parkview Albany. And then after those pool play matches are over, they'll reseed it, and then we'll have 2 additional matches after that. So I guess talk a little bit about the dual team this year and so on.
Yeah, so one of the cool things about being part of this program is the push for dual teams. I've been part of youth dual teams and other clubs, and this one really focuses on that because that's where you build a team. That's where you build your future and get to see kids wrestle. At these youth tournaments, there's a lot going on. There's multiple kids in a family, and trying to watch your child is not easy if you have kids wrestling on mat 1 and then someone's in another gym. And even as a spectator and a coach, I don't get to watch all those kids wrestle. I love the dual meet atmosphere for the youth. We're all together, we're cheering each other on, and we're watching one match at a time, and we can put all of our energy into that. That's my favorite thing about these youth duels. And as you said, I'm looking forward to the state tournament here because we get some different teams that we haven't wrestled before. We don't run into Freedom. No. So that's going to be good for us to wrestle those teams that we've never faced before and some new competition. And then, yes, we have wrestled Iowa Grant, and we've wrestled them twice. We wrestled them at Dubuque, and then we wrestled them at our host tournament, which was phenomenal, by the way. Thank you for all your work with that, you and Kyle and the club and whoever else. I don't know who decided that, but thank you. That was amazing. And I know we've already talked about this, or you talked about this on the podcast, but just seeing the teams come and the families there, the gym was packed for a youth dual tournament. It was phenomenal. And then we had our youth dual tournament at DeSoto. So we've had some experience with that, and my favorite part, again, just like some of these other parents have stated, is they get to watch all their kids wrestle. They're not scrambling in different gyms and going to different mats. So that's the cool thing about the youth team duel, and they're going to do that in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a firm believer in, well, first of all, it's easy to get kids out for wrestling. The tough part is keeping them out. And I think that the more team competitions, the more dual competitions that we do, that'll only build a stronger bond. And especially, we have a great group of 3rd through 5th graders. They're fairly young. I mean, we have a pile of 3rd graders on this team, a couple 4th graders, a couple 5th graders. But, I mean, I think this team can do real special things once they get to high school if we can keep them all together. And I think doing these types of things will help with that. So, obviously, team state this weekend. And then we're right into the qualifier next weekend. We'll be going to Prairie du Chien for that. If you have not registered yet, do so before Monday, so that way we can get you in before early registration, because it's kind of a pain, and then you'll probably have to pay on yourself and at the door, and it's a little bit more expensive. For that, we will weigh in either Dodgeville or Prairie du Chien. Some are closer to Dodgeville, some are closer to Prairie du Chien. That'll be on Friday night. You do have to make a weight for that. You can just pretty much show up, weigh whatever you want, wrestle whatever you want. That works that way. I don't advocate cutting weight too much at this level or at all. And then, Saturday is the qualifier. The younger 2 divisions and all the girls are in the morning, and then the older 2 divisions are in the afternoon. So that should be a good experience, and looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's a fun time of the year. I know when you start in November, and some kids wrestle throughout the season, and we've talked about that on the other stuff here with opportunities. I'm seeing tons of kids going to XL and tons of kids going to Top Dogs, and they're just continuing to wrestle, and we have practices 3 nights a week, and kids still have that energy, and they still enjoy it after 4 months of wrestling, which is exactly the goal. And, again, this club does a great job of mixing up those practices and getting different partners with the kids and doing different games and activities to make practices fun. And as you said, it's really easy to get kids to come to practice and enjoy it, but to stick out through all of that, it's just been phenomenal. The amount of opportunities that this club provides for kids is second to none, in my opinion. So
yeah, absolutely. We wanted to, every penny we make, we want to put back into wrestling opportunities for the kids. And just take away all those excuses. Wrestling can be a very expensive sport if you try to do it yourself, try to alleviate most of that stress. And then the biggest thing is just getting your kids there for the most part. We try to give as many training opportunities as possible with our own club, and then also outside clubs as well. So even if you can't get to XL, we do for our 3rd through 5th grade division, we do have the 3 practices a week, so you're able to get in extra reps that way. So I think this year overall has been a fairly successful year so far. Hope to get a pile of kids down to the state tournament. I know that for some parents that the qualifier can be kind of scary. It's not. Who cares? It's just another tournament. If we talk about trusting the process a lot, and we've worked on this for the last 5 years or so on what the process is and what the process looks like. We're not trying to create hammers at 10 years old. I could care less if you make the state tournament or not. It's just another opportunity. I know a pile of kids that have had a bunch of success when they're younger that didn't translate to high school, and then a bunch of kids that didn't have any success that went on to win multiple state championships. So it's just all about the opportunities, having fun. And that's why I tell the kids, you just want to get a little bit better every day. You want to have fun. You want to hang out with your buddies, and then just continue to grow. We want you to be peaking when you're 16 years old, not 10 years old. So no pressure on this. If you don't make the state tournament, it is what it is. Not a big deal. So just harping on trusting the process, using the process and going from there. So then the weekend after the qualifier is the state tournament. So that should be a fun weekend. We got the rooms booked. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I'm used to traveling back and forth every single day for all 3 days and coaching down there. But just as you said, the thing that gets me the most excited is the kids cheering on their teammates. I know there's going to be a few kids who have their hearts broken, and that's okay, because if you really want it, you're going to put some effort in and go from there, or learn from it and move on, And I heard Coach Kayaski tonight talking to the middle school kids, and I hope he's okay with me saying this, that you know what? If you don't qualify for state, you know what? You'll wake up the next day and you should still be proud of yourself for all the effort you put in. And that's my favorite thing about the youth state tournament. Last year was really my first big experience with it, being there all 3 days and just seeing kids cheer for their teammates, even if they didn't qualify. It was phenomenal. And just having that opportunity, we're very blessed to be where we're at and to get these nice tournaments that are so close to us.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best parts of the state tournament is that we all hang out underneath. We all have the text messages on, so boom, someone gets assigned to a mat. The couple coaches go with that kid, and then the rest of the kids, they run up the stairs and out down to the photo section of where they're going to be on the mat, and then they're all cheering loud from there. So yeah, I mean, just building team camaraderie and associating as much fun with wrestling as possible, and that's how one of the biggest things as parents worried about their kids getting burnt out. Kids don't get burnt out with doing stuff they love. Yeah. And associating as much fun as possible and along with the team camaraderie with that as well is just second to none. And then after that, it kind of rolls into the best time of the year, freestyle Greco. That's my favorite. Lots of training opportunities for that. I would say that if you are a kid that was born in the year 2017 and older, to get down and at least go through the month of April into early May. The state freestyle Greco tournament is a great experience. It's a great opportunity. And then with Northern Plain regional tournament being the next weekend in the Dells, it's too close, too convenient to pass up on that. And then just getting to as many practices throughout the season as possible after that. If you can make one a week, if you can make 2 a week, that's great. And the one thing nice about Excel is that it is so late in the evening, so that way if you do have other stuff going on, it's usually fairly easy to still get that. I understand that with baseball it can get kind of difficult, but just obviously if there's a rain day or game gets canceled, come on down to practice, because that's really where you're going to make all your gains there, and it's one of the most laid back times of the year. There's the kids have put all this pressure on themselves throughout the folk style season for whatever reason. It's not coming from us, but still they have goals and they want to attain those goals, and that's good. But I mean, freestyle Greco is really just truly laid back, fun. Practices aren't difficult by any means, just a great time and learn a lot of technique. And then we do have multiple camp opportunities as well. We do have our camp as well. The Judd Schmitz Champ Camp is another close one. And then if you can get to any of the Askren ones, we went to one last year. We're going to go to a couple this year. Those are just awesome as well.
Yeah, and as a parent who had never had my child do Greco and freestyle, the myth was always, they're going to get confused. They're going to mix the styles up, and I keep hearing it and seeing it more and more that there are tons of things that transition from freestyle to Greco, and my son's actually looking forward to freestyle this year. He did both last year, didn't compete, but he loved the practices because it was new moves, new things. His favorite thing, and we have this a lot in our room, is he goes, Dad, I can finally lock hands and score points. So, yes, that is one area that he has known that, hey, I can't lock hands in folk style, but he is looking forward to freestyle because he loves to lock his hands and flip and roll and do all these different things, and he's like, that's right in my wheelhouse. So to hear someone I was not against it, I was cautious of it as well, like the whole, they're throwing each other, they're flipping, and that's why we do a lot of tumbling and stuff in our practices to get that body control. And I know that they do those things at practice too, landing safely safely and all those sort of things. So take it from me, a parent who was not big into it right away until last year. As soon as my son dipped his toes into it, he was hooked. He liked it. He loved the difference, and it shakes things up.
Yeah, I mean, just from a wrestling philosophy, I mean, with Sebastian, I don't know, this is probably his 5th year wrestling now. For his first 3 years, I don't know that I even taught a half Nelson to him or anything. It was takedown and cut. My philosophy is on it, you have to be elite on your feet, and then the other stuff that'll come. We can work on the rides, and we can work on getting out and all that stuff. Freestyle is great for that because obviously you can't score points at all. You have 0 opportunities to score points unless you are taking kids down. And it just gives the kids the opportunity to let it fly and to really get comfortable on their feet and aggressive. And that's just going back to the process thing. Is my biggest thing is that if you're up by 10 points, down by 10 points, our biggest thing is just scoring points, looking to score points at all times, whistle to whistle. So, and that's truly one of the things that I love about freestyle and Greco season.
Yeah, and again, it's just another opportunity to be on the mat and be with some friends. And, going to these clubs, it can seem overwhelming. I randomly signed Killian up to go to an Ashland club the other day, strictly for me to take notes and learn and help our club get better and myself as a coach. And I sat there and I watched him just blend in. And he instantly found kids and he learned from them. And that's what it's all about, because everybody wrestles differently. You wrestle different than I do, than Coach Kyle, than Coach Seep, and all of us wrestle differently. But there's still some fundamental things that everybody does, but they could do it just a little bit differently and still have fun. Like, again, wrestling is fun. Don't let people tell you that it's not. It's a grind. It's not a grind. Kids are having a good time with it.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of old wives' tales and myths about wrestling that are not necessarily true. But then after we get through really middle of July, that's kind of when we focus on transitioning back into folk style. I'm not a huge fan. Actually, I despise during freestyle and Greco season wrestling any folk style competitions. I don't like it at all. That's just me. That's my philosophy on it. But yeah, so the middle of July through Fargo, then we start transitioning back into folk style. Usually take 2-3 weeks off after Fargo. Then we're back in the practice room, transitioning back into folk style, getting ready for our first competitions of the year, which is traditionally preseason nationals, which is just a great event. No matter what skill level you are, just going down there with your buddies, hanging out at the event, hanging out at the hotel. It just truly creates such a great team bond and then obviously memories that will be shared for the rest of their lives. But yeah, just a great opportunity to knock the rust off, get into a competition level, and then boom, we're back into it. And before you know it, it's December, and we're competing nearly every weekend again. So.
Yeah, and those other tournaments that these bigger tournaments, whether you place or not, that's not the point. And the more I hear from you and Coach Kyle about your experiences and why to go to those matches or those tournaments, it just gets me excited, because you're absolutely right. Every tournament that we go to for the most part is round robin.
Yep.
So if you lose, okay, I still have 2 more matches. These bigger tournaments, I didn't realize the benefits of going 0-2, because until last year at state, when my kid lost 2 matches, he's like, can I have one more? I should get one more. And he was so used to, I have a round robin. I have 3 people in my bracket. Dad, there's one more person I'm supposed to wrestle. And that was an eye-opening experience for me. And I realized what you guys are doing, and it's a big thing that I need to start doing more research on and helping these families see it as well. And it's okay to let the kid go 0-2. It happens, and learn from it. And, again, that's something that I'm looking forward to this offseason, is finding those tournaments with you guys and getting those opportunities to bring more than just a handful of kids there. Because, again, we can go 0-2. Cool. We have a good time at the hotel. We go out to dinner.
They're still going to get their Dippin' Dots afterwards.
Exactly. So that's what I'm excited about, being part of the club and the awesome opportunities that you all provide and find for these kids.
Yeah, I mean, we restructured the club a couple years back, and we're like, what's important and what's not important. And I'm just a huge advocate of giving as much back to the wrestlers as possible. I mean, we used to do scholarships, and I think that stuff's kind of fine. But I would much rather all the money just go into wrestling, and I mean, if you take full advantage of our club, you're gonna get so much value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if you wanted everybody to know this, but there's team state singlets for the youth.
Yep, we did. Yep, so this year we did do team state singlets for the youth. Just a fun little thing we did with them that they'll also, if they earn the opportunity, they make the state tournament, they'll also get to wear down there. Mm-hmm. Just changing up a little bit, something the kids to look forward to.
They had smiles on their face when when you showed up on Tuesday and you held those out, and I know only a couple of them knew about it. They're like, "What? We get to wear that?" It's a cool cursive hornets on the front and orange. It's a white singlet, and on the back it has the old school logo right there,
which is way better than the new one.
I'm no comment on that, but it's just really cool to have that, and the kids get to wear that logo as well, because they have the new logo on the singlets that they wear every time, and then this is just a little something fun for them. And again, that's the cool things that this club provides, and I really appreciate those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for all the stuff you did this year. I can be quite demanding. If you ask my wife or most, I don't know, me and Kyle probably talk far too much about wrestling. I was told I expect too much, and I probably do, but I could care less because I truly think that especially this group, and then what we have at the middle school level with that group as well, can do some very special things, and I care too much to not expect too much. So.
Yeah. No, it's good. You guys all do a lot of good work behind the scenes and provide information for the families and the club to do things, and it's really awesome. And again, we appreciate it. I know you said how much you appreciate what we do, but the kids are the main focus. And again, if you just come to that room, if there's anybody out there who's like, hey, I'm interested in helping coach, we're not going to turn you down, and you'll like it. You'll get in there and you'll see the smiles. You'll see all of them just competing, and man, the amount of kids that say thank you after practice it's really good. We
truly do have a incredible group of kids, and for that to happen, we have to have an incredible group of parents. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and the parents of especially the younger division are rock stars. I mean, we tell them, hey, we're going here. They're all there for the most part. Mm-hmm. I mean, when Sebastian first started wrestling, I think that we'd go to a lot of tournaments, and there'd probably be, if we're lucky, 3 or 4 Richland Center kids. It was Sebastian, the Ewing boys, occasionally Blake and Landon, and that's ever since we went to this club sponsored philosophy. I mean, we've had at least 20 kids at every tournament. We traveled to Dubuque, Iowa, which, some people that might be far. There was no pushback on that. They loved it. Obviously, we hosted our youth dual tournament this year, which was a tremendous success. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that we'll fill up fairly quickly next year. All the teams that came, except for maybe one, were ecstatic with how it went, especially with our first. The only real bug we had is we didn't set up the time beforehand, but we had that fixed fairly quick. So, but yeah, I mean, just the level of participation and practice, and that was one of the things is that back in the day when we had just a handful of kids going to tournaments, is we always had a pile of kids at the beginning of the year. And then that dwindled down to a room of 10 kids that would go to the qualifier. Yeah. And a couple years back when we went to Westby for the qualifier, we brought 11 kids. Last year we qualified 11 kids for the state tournament. So Richland Center is getting back to where it should be, and that should be at the top. So hopefully it won't be long, I hope.
Yeah, I can see it. I see the effort, and everything is going in the right direction with the support and the community, and it's been a great time being back home, and I'm really happy you guys got me involved. And
I didn't give you much of a choice.
Yeah,
we
did.
Came to the parents' meeting. I pretty much told you, hey, you're going to help.
Yeah, I think that was the only 2 words you said is Dan's coaching, and that was the meeting. I'm like, oh, okay, but no, again, if more people want to get involved, definitely do. There's a lot of good things going on, and we really appreciate everything that everybody has helped out with.
Well, I wouldn't have allowed you to coach, but Kyle gave such glowing recommendations that and I trust Kyle quite a bit. So I guess against my better judgment, I listen to Kyle. But yeah, so next week we'll recap the team state tournament, and we'll probably talk a little bit of NCAAs next week. One of the biggest things, one of the funnest times of the year is obviously we have the qualifier next Saturday, and then usually a bunch of us get together somewhere after the qualifier to watch the finals, which was always a great time. The kids love it. We really enjoy it. So that is truly one of the best days of the year, just because kids all get to compete. Got a bunch of kids that are super excited because they qualified for the state tournament, and then we get to watch the best wrestling at the Division I level with the finals. So we'll probably touch a little bit on that next week as well. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, that pretty much sums it up in the shortest amount of time as possible.
Well, I don't talk quite as much as Coach Kyle. He's a little bit more long-winded than I am, but he's always got a lot to say. But it's usually good stuff for the most part. So Thanks for tuning in this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. With thanks again to Coach Seep and to Coach Makovic. And then looking forward to talking to you guys next week. Thank you.